Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews, and this is my review for Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy. Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews. Angry Andy Reviews.
Don't make me destroy you.
So, Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver, the follow-up to Rebel Moon Part 1. I can't remember what that title was because it's awful. Anyway, this film, what do we say about this film? Wow, what can I say? Fundamentally, I'm just going to get straight to the point. This film is nonsense and utter dribble. It is an absolute unmitigated mess. I can't for the life of me see how Zack Snyder can get away with creating something like this. It's awful. It's terrible. It's childish. It's toys mashed together, and I think I alluded to this in my review for part 1. I may well be repeating a lot of things I said in that review, but this sounds and feels like AI generated bollocks, to be quite honest with you. It is fundamentally awful. From the writing, to the dialogue, to the acting, bar Ed Skrein. If I'm saying his name right, probably not. I will give Ed Skrein props for giving absolutely everything as this villain, Admiral Noble, I think his name is. I'll give him props for that because he's seething in this film. He's seething. He's chomping through his teeth. Is it just another hash of other villains we've had before? Absolutely. Is there anything unique in this villain? No, not really. But he's at least chewing on something. He's trying to chew on thin air. But bless him, he's giving everything, and I will give him props for that. But my word, everything else is awful. The music from Tom Holkenborg's nothing. It's generic. It sounds like everything we've seen before in Zack Snyder movies. We've got nonsense, bollocks, slow motion effects yet again, with some really stupid placement for these slow motion effects, and I will get into that because my god, it's laughable. And then the action, while it is better in this film by a very small margin, it still looks awful. It's still wafer thin, still no impact. There's still moments where you're going, what on earth are you doing? What on earth is going on? It's loud, it's brash, but there's nothing underpinning it. Fundamentally, there is nothing underpinning it. There is no emotional weight, though it tries to force it upon you. There's no chemistry at all. There is nothing here in this film. It is possibly one of the worst films I've ever seen. I haven't said that very much, but I am fully invested in saying that with this film. My god, the dialogue, it's terrible. Buzzword phrases and dialogue. The script is so wafer thin that it's just relentlessly eye-rolling. We do nothing but sit there and listen to waffle. We do nothing but sit there and listen to dribble. There is a point in this film where they are quite literally sat round a table talking about their past, but it's not in a good way. It's not in a good way. It's purely exposition dialogue. They don't describe anything about themselves. They just tell us, oh, this happened when I did this, and then, oh god, that's why I'm here doing this. Really? Who the fuck are you? What relevance or point has this to anything? It's ludicrous. Whenever they try and do something interesting with the characters, they always revert to exposition. Nobody discusses how they're feeling in the moment. It's all, oh, I feel terrible because of this, I feel terrible because of that. Here's a slow motion shot of my world fucking being annihilated. What's going on? What is this bollocks? And going back to the slow motion, as I said before, there is a sequence in this film, literally the first hour is just drawl, dribble, nonsense. And it's compounded by the fact that they are doing nothing but harvesting hay, which would be fun, which would be good. It would show, a townsfolk, coming together and doing the work, except there's no emotional weight to it. So they're just doing it because the plot dictates they have to, because it will stop these bad guys from decimating the site from orbit. Well, really? We've never had any real sense that they really needed the fucking grain. For me, in the first film, it just seemed like they wanted the grain because they could take it. Now they need it in order to get back to the home world. Well, where the fuck have they been for the last few weeks? Have they just been trawling across the other side of the galaxy? What? Where's the urgency? Fuck off. Fuck off. But with this harvesting of hay, there is an entire long sequence, probably about 10 minutes long, where they are slow motion harvesting hay with scythes, with bundle bags.
Are you serious?
Really? Why are we showing slow motion farming? What on earth is this bollocks? What on earth is this nonsense? It's laughable. It is absolutely laughable. They're trying to make it like this, some kind of poetic thing. But no, it's just... Oh, look at these grains. Oh, fantastic. No! Fucking rubbish! Rubbish! Following this, bear in mind, these people, these warriors, they come to this planet. Nobody's ever seen them before. Nobody knows who the fuck they are. They should be terrified. I mean, they are at first. They hide in the shadows. But 3 days later, there's a lovely gift-giving scene. The villagers give them all gifts and tell them, this is because you're the moon, this is because you're the wolf, and you do this and you do that. What?
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
You don't know these people. What are you doing? What is this about? It's completely disjointed. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't make any sense. It feels conceited and highly devoid of any sort of tangible, believable emotion. And that just echoes the entirety of the rest of the film. It's completely vapid. This whole sequence of gift giving is so misinformed in itself. This is where the film believes that it is giving some high quality character development, because everybody's upset and everybody's crying and very grateful for these gifts, and yet they don't know who they are. They don't know who they are, and these warriors don't know who these villagers are either. They're just there. They're there to defend something because it's an ideal, but no, somehow it's become an emotional investment as well, without any sort of build-up, without any sort of acknowledgement of this. It would have been more better served if these warriors were here for a long period of time, to be ingrained in the society. They've been here 3 days, if that, and all of a sudden they're becoming valuable members of society. What the fuck are you doing? What is this writing? Compound that with the fact that fundamentally the film is just riddled with poor story moments that rip off other better films, and probably people have said it all the time already in other reviews, but for me it's just a fundamental blatant rip-off of films like Seven Samurai, The Magnificent Seven, things like that, except it's done so much more poorly. Those films nailed character, story, structure, redemption arcs in 2.5 hour films. This fucking film, these two films have been nearly 5 hours long, and they're just waffling jargon messes with nothing going on for the characters, nothing beneath the surface. It's all up front and in your face. There is nothing beneath these characters. It's rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish. The meandering plot lines have the bizarre sense that slow everything down when this film should be ramping up, and it does within the final third, but it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't do anything with these plot lines. All the people that they interact with end up getting killed anyway, so what's the fucking point? This film is utterly dire. As I said, it's only spared complete oblivion and ridicule by the rampant action you get in the final third. But like I said, even that is part baked and is drowned in yet more needless slow motion effects. It's drowned in a really overuse of smoke and blasts and this and that. It's just clogging up the screen to cover up. It's just absolute tripe. The blasts from guns, you know, the muzzle flashes, they encompass the entire screen, so you can't fucking see anything that's going on. And yet, there are people running around with axes. I mean, people complain about the fucking stormtroopers having no accuracy. Motherfucker, these motherworld stormtroopers couldn't hit a fucking barn door if it was right in front of them. There are people running around with axes and swords, and yet these blaster fires are just missing all of them because plot armor, and you know, all of this other stuff as well. So they can't even get the action right. You can't even make it impactful because nothing really happens. Again, apart from Ed Screen's character, who's just running around breaking fucking farmers' wives' necks, which is hilarious. Nothing else happens. It's all noise and bluster without any sense of purpose, without any sense of meaning. You have action to create meaning. You have action to create tension. Well, there's no tension here because it's not earned. Nothing's been earned in this film to warrant this tension. It's just noise, sound, fury. Ultimately, it signifies absolutely fuck all. I need a minute. And it's sad, I think, because Snyder has created what is on paper possibly a really interesting world, and yet what we're treated to is just a visual exercise in excess. Put everything on screen, throw that shit to the fan and see if it sticks. Well, Snyder, you need to rein yourself in, because unfortunately you've undermined every single aspect of your potentially investable world by simply not making it interesting, by simply not writing a meaningful story. I'm expecting this review to receive a great many downvotes, and you know, if that's the case, if that's how you truly feel, you know, that this film is a quality piece of cinema, that this film is an impactful, emotional piece of science fiction, then you're quite simply wrong. I disagree with you entirely, and I will stand on that hill and defend that hill, because this film is an uninvolving fucking piece of shit. Quite honestly, I don't want to see a Rebel Moon Part 3, but I guess we're gonna fucking get it, aren't we?
Cause let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel. Ah! Ah!
But no, I don't want it. I don't think the world wants it. The world doesn't need it. We don't need this kind of terror. We don't need this kind of crap on our screens. Zack Snyder is much better than this. You may think I'm crapping on Zack Snyder, but I am a huge fan of Watchmen. I'm a huge fan of 300. This film is not it. He's been given the reins and created just what is essentially children playing with Lego en masse, smashing them together, putting pieces together that don't fit. No, this film is terrible. It's an absolute mess. It's an unmitigated disaster. It's laughable, and not in an enjoyable sense. It's awful. 100% awful. However, like I said, Ed Screen has propped this film up, and certain beats of the action might well have propped this film up, but I cannot give this any more than what I gave the first Rebel Moon Part 1 movie. So for that reason, this film is a 2 out of 10. What an awful film. Horrible. I cannot recommend this in any way, shape or form. I couldn't even recommend this as a cult bad movie to watch, because this, for all intents and purposes, is designed to be the next big thing. It's not. This film will be consigned to the wastelands of absolute stupidity, pointlessness, and awful. Good God, I'm going to go and drink a big cup of coffee. There you go, 2 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts on this film. Let me know did you enjoy this film? If you did, give me some reasons why. Don't just hit the dislike button. Tell me why you like this film. I want to know. Tell me why. Explain to me, in the ways that I've just explained now, why this film is rubbish. Explain to me now why you think it's good. Because I don't believe you, and I will never believe you. I won't believe anyone who says this film is good. I can't, because it's not. It's rubbish. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe to the channel for more reviews like this. Bye-bye.